Hi, I'm Jordan Wesley, Let's Get Ready's Chief Partnerships Officer, and I'm here today with our incredible success team. They lead all of the work that supports our students who are in college, and so I'm excited for us to have a conversation about your coaches, your students, and the work you guys do every day.
Excited to be here.
Yeah. So let's start with our coaches. How are you all, as the program team, the success team, working with your coaches to provide high quality programming to college students?
So I think it starts top down. So of course we're training our coaches, but also I think just as a team, we're making sure that we're staying, abreast to current college trends, that we're making sure that we are knowledgeable about the resources that are out there to support our students. And so making sure that, they have what they need to be able to support the students, the coaches have what they need, and the program managers have what they need to be able to support the coaches. So it's like a trickle down effect. Yeah, I don't know if you want to chime in on that.
Yeah, I would say for our Core Plus program, which is of course the high touch program, our coaches, they have the caseloads, but they also have their information. So they know what schools they attend, they know what area, right? And so then they're able to personalize the information and kind of build on that, especially when it comes to the social and making sure their academics are okay. And then maybe with their advisors, they're able to hone in and really get the details so that they can help them even better because they have that information.
Yeah, that's great. Malik, before we get your voice in here, I want to drill down on something you guys are kind of talking about, which I think is really interesting about this idea of like resources, the kind of resources coach needs and the way you guys are working to get them that information. So this is a question that I get sort of a lot. Let's Get Ready works in a lot of different contexts. Our college students are going to a bunch of different colleges. The coach oftentimes isn't going to the college where the students are at, right? So there's sort of all of this breadth of local specificity, right? And so sometimes people are like, how can that possibly be locally relevant? How can it be connected to their actual experiences when we're sort of coming at it from this lens? So I'd love for you guys to talk about that a little bit. How is our program really tailored to the unique needs of students, really locally relevant to where they're going to college?
So we try to personalize it as best as we possibly can. So in our Core Plus model, we try to be very strategic when making coach caseloads. So it might be that the coach attends an HBCU and will have a caseload of students who also attend HBCUs. It could be that the coach attends a SUNY or a CUNY and they will also do the same thing for their caseload. So we try to make it as specific as we possibly can when we can. It's a little different in core just because the caseload sizes are so large. But even in that event, if we have SMCC students, right, which is one of our partners, we'll make sure that we have the resources of what's going on campus, what are the things that are locally going on in Maine, and then we'll share them with the students and be as specific as we can in those instances.
Yes, but also in our trainings, we discuss the trends, things that are going on in school and their campus, but also in our one-on-ones, we talk about it specifically with their caseloads, with some common conversations that you're starting to have, with some text messages that you're receiving that all of us kind of need to talk about and discuss or find resources for because students are dealing with the same things. And so usually it's around the calendar. So of course finals and midterms are always an important topic that all of our students will talk about at the same time.
And speaking to that, for our core program, we start with the academic calendar. That's the basis for our text-based curriculum. We're really taking a look at what are the important milestones for the year for our students. So registration is coming up. We're sending out messages during that week. Hey, your registration for spring semester is probably coming up. Have you taken a look at your semester for your classes for next semester? Are you making a list? And then some of the more personalized support happens with the coaches as they're responding to the students that are engaging with them. So our students are mentioning, hey, I have an interest in finding a nursing program. Our coaches are able to do some of that research, find those programs that they're able to send to those students that are interested. So,
definitely great. Sounds like the model lets you both sort of research broadly trends that you're seeing, and then also get really specific at a student by student level, and both of those things can be true.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So why is it essential to you that students are one of the first points of contacts that students who enroll in our program connect with? How does that elevate the program?
I think it just speaks back to the model, right, and the uniqueness of Let's Get Ready. It's a near peer model, and so it's super important that the students are connecting with their coaches who are also students. I think it just gives us a little bit of validity, right? They feel like, okay, this person really knows what they're talking about. They're actually going through the same experience or have recently gone through that experience. And so I think it just makes the students feel more comfortable with opening up and sharing and being able to have someone that can relate to them.
And we're also growing into a world where technology is advancing, right? There's a lot of AI and a lot of new platforms. And so for students to realize that they're talking to real students is important. And what we definitely emphasize to our coaches is to keep the conversations real and to make sure that they know that you're in the same shoes or you've once been in those shoes and you're both going to get through this and graduate together.
Yeah.
And to that, I literally just had a coach who was having a conversation with one of her students. The student was very interested in pursuing biology as their major, but was struggling with some of the STEM-focused classes. And the coach went through the exact same thing. She was like, I wanted to do biology, was super interested in it, couldn't necessarily figure out how to handle the STEM courses, switched over to pre-med. And the student was very interested in hearing about that track, hearing about that opportunity for that path. And so my coach was able to illuminate that for the student.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they were doing that through text. And that student on the other end knew this is not a bot, this is a human who is texting me, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. So I'd love for you guys to talk a little bit about what makes a great coach. When you're hiring, vetting all of these candidates that we get for these incredibly sought after paid positions, what are you looking for? How do you pick a great coach? Malik, let's do it.
Okay,
yeah,
sweet.
let's do it.
Let's switch it up a little bit. Sure. For me, I look for a strong sense of problem solving. So if a student is presenting an issue or an obstacle, what then can you provide to the student? How can you provide that guidance? How can you help them navigate? Ask really open-ended questions. In some cases, help them plan and start to understand these are your next steps, right? You should really reach out to your academic advisor to discuss your schedule for next semester, right? If you're struggling with time management, if you're struggling with feeling overwhelmed this semester, what can change for next semester, right? And that's a common example of things that our students bring up, right? Is they feel overwhelmed, there's a lot on their plate. So for me, how can the coach approach that in a way that feels empathetic, in a way that feels warm and personalized, and is very real and authentic, right? Like that's so important that it's not coming across as like, you'll be fine, don't worry about it. Everyone deals with that. It's like, no, I hear you. Let me help you as best as possible. Let's figure this out together.
Yeah, that's great. What would you add? What are you looking for in a great coach?
100% agree with Malik, the empathy. We want to make sure, so when we ask questions, we are looking for that, making sure that they understand that there's going to be obstacles, right? And I'm here to support you and I'm here to help you. I've been in your shoes and I want to guide you through it, but also the personality. I am very personable, right? And so my coaches and all of our coaches are really the same. Something as small as one of my coaches sending hey with like 3 Ys lets you know that you're not talking to a bot, right? My phone will easily say that's wrong. It's just HAY, right? But my students make it personable where they send extra eyes or they send GIFs or emojis so that the students, when they're talking to them, understand that I'm talking to like one of my friends or somebody that I care about and we're going to build a relationship. And so that's the 2 things that I look for.
I love that. But Audrey, I'm going to come to you too, but I love that because what you're also talking about is that like we think that everyone just knows how to text now, but actually there's like an art and a science to texting well and personably and empathetically and all of that.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think just to round it off, like self-efficacy is super important. Like obviously these are your caseloads, these are your students that you're wanting to support, wanting to guide, but also wanting to advocate for and also teach them how to advocate for themselves. Yeah. So it's also important that you know how to advocate for yourself as a coach, right? And so we take the hiring process very serious. The interview process is pretty rigorous. We ask them a lot of questions to make sure that we're filling them out and that we really understand where they're coming from and their intentions with our students. And we ask them all kind of questions to give us, examples of times when you advocated for yourself or times when you stood up for yourself or a fellow student or a family member, so on and so forth. So I think that's also something that's super important.
Yeah. Audrey is the leader of the Success Program. Could you give everybody like just kind of a high level, what actually happens? What's the hiring process?
Okay. It's a little intense, I would say, but usually we kind of post the coach application, I would say like early spring. And so it's usually up from like maybe March or April or so through the beginning of the summer. And then students apply. We also obviously send it out like within our own network, because we also have like a lot of students who are, have been through the program, gone through all of the different stages and are like, oh, I want to become a coach. My coach was so great to me, right? So that's always amazing. And then, of course, just random students who go to different schools, whether it's posted on message boards, so on and so forth. And so that's kind of like how it initially starts. And then the program managers, of course, will sift through all of the applicants, which is usually hundreds of applicants. And then they'll look through resumes and identify what qualities kind of stand out to them, and then start the interview process, which, again, is a little bit rigorous, a lot of questions, but good questions. And then it goes from there. And so they go through the interview process, so on and so forth, and then the program managers will hire them, and
That's great.
we'll get them trained and started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And the interview process includes how many rounds?
So the interview process is 2 rounds. So the first round is an interview with a program manager. The second round is a work sample that we ask the coaches to provide. And also for our returner coaches, because we tend to have a high number of coaches. I think this past year we had the highest number of returners, which I think was half of the previous caseload. So I think 14 to 15 coaches returned, which is amazing. And so then we also have a separate interview process for them, because we want to know, like, how was your year? How did it go last year? What were some of the peaks? What were some of the lows? What are the things that you want to improve upon for the upcoming year? And so that's pretty much the process.
That's great. Thank you. Great. All right. So the last thing I'm going to ask is just walk us through how the Success Program works. What's happening, and how are you leveraging both the technology and our workforce of amazing college students to help this program run so well? Malik, you want to start?
Sure, yeah. So again, we start with our texting platform Mainstay, right? We're using the academic calendar to determine for the year what kind of texts should be going out. And let me be very clear, the text-based curriculum is well researched. It is coming from a place of what makes a good text message, what makes it engaging. We're using nudge theory to really make sure that our students are responding to those text messages. So that's the first thing that goes out. And those text messages are very important reminders. Something that's relevant right now is FAFSA is about to open. So we have had several messages going out in the past few weeks about FAFSA is coming up. Are you preparing your documents? Are you talking with your parents and guardians so that they can be prepared and they're going to log in and provide the necessary information? So we send those messages out. Our students are responding, and whoever responds, that's who our coaches are directly supporting and texting back. From my end, what I'm doing is I'm logging into Mainstay, and I'm looking at those conversations. And something that I hold myself accountable to and my coaches accountable to is we have the 8 quality core tenets of texting. And some examples that I can give are the messages empathetic? Are they warm? Are they personalized? Are you using the student's name? That's something I really tell my coaches. Sounds very simple, but it makes a huge difference. If you're addressing that student by name, you're letting them know, I'm not a bot. I can text your name. It's spelled correctly. I know that it's a real person that's texting me back. Are you looking for signs of trouble, right? So if a student says that they're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, are you digging deeper in with that? Are you addressing what might need to happen in order for the students to get support? Big one is resource sharing. Connecting them with campus resources, connecting them with, and our coaches are subject matter experts. They know the things that work. They know awesome flashcard resources. They know how to find internships. And so they're able to share those resources directly with the students. And it's straight to their phone, no barrier, instant access to those important critical resources that they may not have had a chance to get otherwise. So I do all of that review and then go into my one-on-ones with my coaches, and we're discussing all of that. We're discussing their strengths, we're discussing their growth areas, what went well this week in terms of the student support, and what could be improved. Where are those growth areas? And if anything does need to be tracked, I'm making sure that we're following up the following week. Hey, this student said that they are struggling with that time management. Let's make sure we're following up. They had a meeting with their professor to discuss getting some accommodations. Let's make sure we debrief with them and we make sure that they're getting exactly what they need. If not, then we can point them to more resources that they might need to take advantage of.
Great, thank you.
So along with Malik, since our program, Core Plus, is a little bit more high touch, of course, we are, along with the text messaging and one-on-one meetings, which are super important, we're also calling our students. So they call students once a month, the students that are in caseload, and then we email them a resource every month too. So the opportunity that they get to be able to talk on the phone with the students, or even video chats, because some of them have asked to meet with them on Zoom, allows them to kind of build that engagement more, understand how they can help them better, and have more fluid conversations. I actually just had a coach who was so excited to tell me that they talked to a student and they were thinking about withdrawing from a class. Of course, she talked about making sure that you meet with your advisor, but one of the conversations that she discussed was the SAP, or satisfactory academic progress, where if you drop a class, you drop more classes than you attempted, that you might lose your financial aid. And she knew that because it happened to her. So she was able to share that with her student, and her student said, "Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you so much. I'll go talk to my advisor." And then she ended up texting her saying, I'm no longer going to drop my class or withdraw from the class. So she's just going to push through. Mm-hmm. And so that was like, I was so excited on the call. I was like, oh my goodness, great job. That's that growth mindset. Like, you pushed her, you took what you learned, you helped her, and now both of y'all are going to grow. And so just having those one-on-one meetings, I think, are really, really important and key to making sure that we continue to grow in the program.
And I think, speaking to the collegiate workforce, for many of our coaches, this is their first professional opportunity, right? And so we take that very serious. Like, we want to make sure that they're prepared to enter into the professional world. And so we do all kind of things. We have monthly meetings. Some of those monthly meetings include career readiness, where we're really prepping them. We're using coach check-ins to really talk about life after college, right? Like, what do you want to pursue? Yeah. What aspirational goals do you have? And how can we support that? So we have a lot of coaches who have gone on to graduate school, have entered various levels of like the corporate world, and we've supported that. We've written letters of recommendation, we've prepped for interviews, we've done all sorts of things. So that's also really important to us as well.
Yeah, yeah. You guys are preparing the next generation of leaders.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Let's get them ready.
Right.
Let's get them ready. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you guys for sharing all of the wisdom and experience you bring. It's been fun to talk to you about the program today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.